Very interesting story from the Supreme Court, and specifically about Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. We are led to expect that the 9 justices of the Supreme Court are the supreme legal scholars of this country, and that further, even if we were to doubt all of their personal recollections in terms of precedent and case law, that they are assisted by some of the most by clerks who are chosen from the best of the best. And therefore, we can assume that every decision made by a Supreme Court justice, every opinion written, is going to, at its minimum, even if we disagree with it, be based on accurate recollections of case law. Unfortunately, somehow this has kept Antonin Scalia, none of this has kept Antonin Scalia from making a gross legal error that is being called an unprecedented blunder by some legal experts. 2 days ago, Antonin Scalia was on the dissenting side in a 6-2 decision that upheld the EPA's authority to regulate coal pollution. Antonin Scalia, who is an extreme right-wing justice appointed by Ronald Reagan, wrote that the decision of the majority, the 6, he was not in the majority, to uphold EPA authority to regulate coal pollution was wrong because it wasn't consistent with what he recalls as a unanimous ruling back in 2001, which, again, according to Antonin Scalia, was the Supreme Court shooting down EPA efforts to consider costs when setting regulations. And he quoted in his opinion, "This is not the first time EPA has sought to convert the Clean Air Act into a mandate for cost-effective regulation. Whitman versus American Trucking Associations Incorporated, 531 U.S. 457 from 2001, confronted EPA's contention that it could consider cost in setting standards. This, of course, is not what happened. There's a problem. That wasn't the EPA's position back in 2001. The agency was actually defending its refusal to consider cost as a counterweight to health benefits when setting air quality standards. It was actually the trucking industry that wanted the EPA to factor in cost. The 9-0 ruling in 2001 sided with the EPA. However, in 2014, Antonin Scalia is citing what he thinks was a 9-0 decision against the EPA as precedent for his decision here. Mischaracterizing this in general is really bad, but he's mischaracterizing his own vote. Scalia was on the 9-0 vote back in 2001. So, Lewis, what's your reaction here? It's one thing. This was eventually corrected by the Supreme Court. It is one thing to maybe reinterpret a federal law, right, in a way that someone could disagree with. But to mischaracterize your own decision 13 years ago as part of the reason for your decision today is really shocking in many ways.
Right. I can't tell if this was an honest mistake. Well, I can't say with certitude, but what I can tell you is that Scalia tends to side with corporations and big money on almost every decision he makes. We've talked about it before.
But putting aside even whether it was deliberate, right? I mean, we hear the right constantly calling for the retirement of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, even though she's not making these mistakes because she's old, too old, according to some. Yet nobody seems to be reacting in the same way on the right to Antonin Scalia's mistakes.
I guess people just don't have these preconceived notions about his insanity, memory, age. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can tell you that I think we both know that I think this person was put here by someone who is extremely conservative because he is extremely conservative. And I don't think, and who just happened to have an impressive legal background. I don't think this guy is the guy who should be making these decisions.
This program is supported directly by you. Please go to davidpakman.com/membership to become a supporter today and get a whole bunch of great member benefits while doing it.